I wasn't even looking for it. I just opened her story by accident, one of those autoplay things at the top of the screen. 2 glasses, a rooftop bar, her hand reaching across the table, clinking against someone else's. The hand? It had a tattoo on the wrist, the same one I'd seen 100 times while sitting across from him. My best friend. I stared at the screen for a long time, not because I couldn't believe it, but because some part of me already knew. Let me back up. The breakup wasn't messy, it wasn't loud, no cheating, no big betrayal. Just the slow unraveling of 2 people who couldn't find each other in the same room anymore. He and I were together for almost 2 years. Started off strong. He was funny, supportive, a little too into his Spotify playlists, but somehow that made it charming. We had our routines, taco nights, Netflix on the couch, road trips where we didn't even need music because we talked the whole time. And then we stopped talking. When it ended, I didn't want to lean on anyone. But she showed up, my best friend. She brought me Thai food, wine, a trash bag for everything that reminded me of him. We stayed up talking until 3 a.m. And for a while, I thought, this is what healing feels like. Having someone who just gets you when everything else feels wrong. She didn't say much about him, didn't trash him, didn't even really ask what happened, which I appreciated at the time. She just said, if he made you feel small, he wasn't worth your heart. She said it like she meant it. Now I wonder if that was guilt talking. At first, she kept checking in, sending playlists, inviting me to random girls-only nights, trying to keep me distracted. But then it shifted. She stopped asking how I was doing. Stopped talking about me, period. One night, I texted her just to say hi. She took almost 12 hours to reply. Sorry, babe. Crazy day. Everything okay? It wasn't a bad message. It just felt off, generic, like I was texting a coworker. Then there were the stories. Not hers, ours. Things I told her about the relationship. Vulnerable stuff. She started repeating them back to me in weird ways. Slightly changed. Turned into jokes. Like the time I told her he used to leave sticky notes on my mirror when I was having bad weeks. Suddenly she's talking about how it's weird when guys do the cutesy mirror thing too early. That one stung. Then came the perfume. She wore something different one night when we met up. It wasn't hers. I know what she wears. She's been wearing the same scent since freshman year. But this one, it was the cologne I used to keep in his bathroom. The one I bought him as a gift. The one he wore on our first weekend trip together. She brushed it off. Said it was just something she sampled at a store. But I knew better. The final straw. She started canceling plans. Not just once, but over and over. Always last minute. Work stuff. Exhausted. Need a night in. Then she'd post something the same night. A dinner, a drink, a second glass across the table. No faces, just hints. It ate at me. I didn't want to believe it. This was her, the person who helped me through it. But one night, I got tired of guessing. So I opened a second account. A burner. One she didn't know about. And that's when I saw the story. Her hand, clinking glasses. The angle showed just enough of the other wrist. A tattoo. Right there, under the cuff. Same one he had. Clear as day. I put my phone down. I didn't cry. Didn't scream. Just stared at the ceiling and felt something I didn't expect. Relief. Because I wasn't crazy. All those weird silences, all those missed calls, all the things that didn't make sense. They made sense now. After I saw her story, I didn't confront her. I didn't text, didn't call, didn't ask, is that his hand in the photo? Because I already knew the answer. I just didn't want to hear it from her mouth. Not yet. Instead, I went quiet. No reactions, no replies, just distance. And almost immediately, she noticed. Because silence, it makes guilty people uncomfortable. 3 missed calls, 2 more the next day, then a voice memo. Hey, haven't heard from you in a bit. Just making sure everything's okay. Miss you. Casual. Too casual. The kind of tone people use when they know they've crossed a line but are hoping you don't bring it up. I waited 48 hours before replying. Just busy. Life stuff. Hope you're good. She responded in seconds. I am. We need a night out soon. Drinks? I told her maybe next week, but I knew we wouldn't. Not again. I started watching my ex online. He'd been quiet after the breakup, which was part of why it ended, but suddenly, he was posting more. Gym selfies, brunch plates, a rooftop view at sunset. His sunglasses reflection showed a blurred shape beside him. Her hair, her nails, her. That's when I stopped second-guessing myself. Because it wasn't just the photo. It was the timeline. The way she started canceling plans. The way he disappeared from our group chat. How they both went silent around the same time. It wasn't coincidence. It was choreography. And here's the thing that gutted me most. She knew him. Because I gave her the map. Every late-night phone call, every emotional dump, every voice memo about things I couldn't tell anyone else. She was listening, learning, memorizing the way he moved through my life. And then she stepped right into it, like she'd always meant to. I tested her, told her I'd been reconnecting with someone new, a guy she didn't know, told her we had plans at this new rooftop bar on Friday. 2 days later, guess who posted from that same rooftop bar? My ex, a different outfit, same skyline. No caption, no tag, but he wanted to be seen. By me. Then she slipped. We were on the phone and she was venting about work. Said, he always says I take things too personally. Then she paused. Too long. I mean, my coworker, not like someone I'm dating. But it was too late, because I knew that phrase. I knew exactly who said it. Because he used to say it to me whenever I tried to express how he made me feel small. Now she was using it too, wearing his words like they belonged to her. And I realized something awful. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't two people who found comfort in each other. This was strategic, and it probably started long before I ever hit the unfollow button. That night, I scrolled through old texts between her and me. Found one I'd forgotten. 6 months ago, a photo I sent her of me and him. We were at a winery, arms around each other, smiling like nothing could ever touch us. The message I wrote, I think I really love him. Her reply? You should. He's a good one. Now she's holding his hand in rooftop stories. Drinking out of the same glasses we used to toast with. Smiling like none of it cost her anything. People think betrayal feels like a slap in the face. Sudden, loud, immediate. But that's not how it happens. Not when it's from someone close. When it's someone you love, it creeps in. Quiet, patient, unforgiving, like a leak behind your walls. By the time you notice the damage, the structure's already rotting. After I saw that story, I stopped pretending. Not publicly, just internally. I stopped trying to convince myself she was still my best friend. Because she wasn't. She was just someone wearing the version of her I used to trust like family. I didn't block her, didn't confront her, didn't unfriend anyone. I just went quiet, watched, listened, and people started showing me the truth without realizing it. One night, a friend from our old group sent me a meme, totally random. I replied with a simple LOL. Then she wrote, glad we're still good. I wasn't sure what side you were on. I stared at that for a long time. What side? Later that night, another message came in from someone I hadn't talked to in months. Hey, just so you know, they've been kind of public lately. I didn't want you to be blindsided. Kind of public? So it wasn't recent. It was just visible now. They'd been doing this for a while. That's when it hit me. They weren't keeping it a secret from everyone, just from me. I didn't respond to either message, didn't ask questions, because now I knew what I needed to know. And once you've got truth, you don't chase clarity. You use it. So I did, quietly. I started collecting everything. Not out of spite, out of necessity. Because people like her always rewrite the story later. They'll call it bad timing, say it just happened, act like it was a moment. I wasn't going to let her turn my history into an excuse. I saved the photo from her story, the rooftop one. Her hand, his watch, time-stamped. I screen recorded her voice memo. The one where she said she missed me. I saved texts from friends who weren't sure what side to be on, wrote down dates, conversations, gut feelings I'd ignored the first time, not to use against her, just to remember. Then I waited, because I knew what was coming. She'd reach out. She'd want to talk, not to apologize, to be forgiven, to feel better about what she did, to hear me say, it's okay. But I wasn't going to make her feel okay. I was going to make her feel invisible. I didn't block her, didn't post anything passive-aggressive. I just let the silence grow. Let her wonder how much I knew. Let her sweat in the space where I used to send memes, late-night rants, outfit selfies, and she noticed. Because silence? It makes people like her hitch. Then it came, the message. Hey, I feel like you've been avoiding me. Can we talk? I read it once, twice, closed my phone, didn't respond. Not because I had nothing to say, but because she didn't deserve access to the version of me that still explained myself. I never responded to her message, not because I was trying to be cruel, but because there's a certain kind of silence that says more than any confrontation ever could. She didn't get the conversation she was hoping for. She got a door that didn't just close. It vanished. She tried again. I just feel like something shifted between us. Did I do something? She knew what she did. She just wanted me to say it first so she could soften the blow with a carefully wrapped excuse. But I left it on read. No explanation. No drama. Just nothing. Because when someone crosses a line with their whole chest, the least you can do is let them feel the weight of your absence. She wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry I found out. That's what all of this was about. Not healing, not honesty, damage control. I didn't lash out, didn't drag her name, didn't call mutual friends asking them to pick sides. I just stopped participating in the narrative. And slowly, that silence did the work for me. People noticed. Some reached out, some didn't. And I started seeing things for what they really were. The people who didn't check in, they were never really there for me. They were just close enough to witness the mess without wanting to be part of the cleanup. And honestly, that's okay, because I wasn't trying to win people anymore. I was trying to win myself back. And that meant letting go of what I thought I needed from her, or from anyone. Eventually, the story broke. Not dramatically, just casually. A friend sent a group photo from a party. There she was, and there he was. Same side of the frame, same drinks, same laughter. Someone captioned it. They finally went public, took long enough. And that was it. Not scandal, not whispers, just reality. And I felt nothing. Not anger, not jealousy, just a strange kind of peace. Because it meant I didn't have to imagine it anymore. It was real. It happened. And it wasn't my problem to hold. She messaged me one last time. I know you probably hate me, but I didn't mean for it to happen like this. Like this. As in, without my permission, without my blessing, without time softening the edge. But I wasn't interested in shaping her guilt. I was interested in reclaiming my silence. And so I gave her nothing. No reply. No closure. Because closure isn't something you hand to the person who broke you. It's something you take for yourself. And just when I thought it was done, he texted me, the ex. Hey, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Short, direct, too late. But reading that, it made one thing clear. Neither of them were reaching out because they missed me. They missed the version of me who made them feel okay about what they did. And that version, she's gone. I used to think closure came from a conversation, something mutual, clean, respectful. But that's not how it happens in real life. Not when the people who hurt you won't even say the truth out loud. Real closure? It's quiet, it's messy. It's you, sitting in your own silence, deciding that this part of your life is over. Not because they said sorry, but because you're tired of dragging the weight around. After their last messages, I deleted the threads. No screenshots, no rereads, just gone. Not out of anger, but because I didn't need proof anymore. I had the truth, and that was enough. My life felt small at first, like I'd cut too much, too fast. The quiet was deafening. But slowly, I started realizing the quiet wasn't empty. It was space. And I finally had the chance to fill it with things that belonged to me. I signed up for a yoga class. Didn't post about it, didn't tell anyone. It was just mine. And somewhere between the stillness and the stretch, I realized I'd been holding my breath since everything started. Now I could exhale. Old friends faded. New ones appeared. People who didn't know the story, didn't care about the sides, just like me. For me. And that felt like healing. Not dramatic, not loud, just honest. One day, I bumped into a mutual friend at a bookstore. She mentioned seeing them at an event, said they looked tense. I didn't ask for more, but she gave me more anyway. Said he avoided eye contact, said she smiled too much, said they looked like they were still trying to convince everyone it was worth it. And for the first time, I didn't feel anything. Not hate, not validation, nothing. Because it didn't belong to me anymore. Later that week, I saw a photo of them online. Candid, polished, perfect on the surface, but his hand was hovering. Her eyes weren't on him. They were on the camera. They didn't look like two people in love. They looked like a project, a performance. And I wondered, do they even remember why they started? Or are they just trying not to lose face now that everyone's watching? But I didn't linger on the question. Because wondering means you still care. And I didn't. I started writing again. Privately. No filters, no edits. Just whatever I needed out of my system. Things like, I still miss the version of her I thought was real. I hate how often I checked his profile. I'm proud I never responded. It wasn't all strength. Some of it was messy. Some of it was small. But it was mine. And that's what made it real. One night, I came home late, took off my shoes, poured a glass of wine, turned on music that didn't remind me of anyone, and I felt it. Not happiness, not power, just okay. Which, after everything, felt like peace. I used to think healing would feel like a finish line. Like one day, I'd wake up, stretch, and just be over it. Like a switch would flip and the weight would finally disappear. But healing doesn't announce itself. It just shows up quietly, between the pauses, and the things you no longer think about. It came to me one afternoon at a red light. A song came on. One he used to play in the car. One we used to scream the lyrics to with the windows down. And for a moment, I waited for the ache. but it didn't come. That's when I knew. I wasn't holding on to it anymore. Not the story, not the questions, not the need for someone to explain what they did and why they did it. I had already answered it myself. They did what they did because they could. And I let go because I had to. I changed my hair. Not dramatically, just enough to feel new. New tone, new length, new chapter. Not for anyone else. Just me. I passed a coffee shop we used to go to, me and her. It hit like a memory, but not a painful one. I remembered our laughs, the ridiculous stories, the hours we used to waste like we had forever. But it felt far away now. Not sad, just distant, like it belonged to someone I used to be. I started saying yes to things again. Not because I needed distractions, but because I was finally open to joy again. Dinner invites. Walks at night, weekend plans I didn't cancel last minute. And the best part, I didn't think about whether or not I'd run into them. Because they weren't in my world anymore. Not really. I got a new job, a better one, different city, different team, fresh everything. And the difference was instant. No ghosts in the break room. No people quietly choosing sides. Just space, freedom, peace. Then, out of nowhere, someone from the old world texted me. Saw them at a party. She didn't look like herself. I didn't ask what that meant. Didn't want the update, but I read it twice. Not because it hurt, because it didn't. It was just another thing that no longer had power over me. I didn't hope they were miserable. I didn't wish them well either. I just let it float away. Because that's what freedom feels like. Not forgiveness, not forgetting, just no longer needing to hold it. Someone asked me recently if I was dating. I smiled and said, not yet. And it felt honest, not defensive, not heavy, just open. That weekend, I bought myself flowers, the kind I used to wait for someone else to surprise me with. Lit a candle, cooked dinner, sat on the couch with a glass of wine. No music tied to memories. No pictures on the walls that felt like old chapters. Just quiet, stillness, contentment. I caught myself smiling, not at anyone, not for a photo, just me existing and finally feeling light again. People think betrayal marks you forever, that it becomes your whole identity. But it doesn't. It doesn't define you. It refines you. It burns away everything that wasn't real, everything that didn't love you back. And what's left? That's who you really are. I don't walk around thinking about them anymore. There's no bitterness in my bones. Just space, breath, peace I fought for, earned. Someone once told me healing comes in waves. They were right, but they didn't tell me this. The waves eventually stop trying to knock you down, and one day they just become part of the view. That's where I am now. Not some epic transformation, not a movie-ending moment, just a quiet knowing that I am okay, that I am whole, that I am mine again. I found a photo of us the other day, me and her, arms wrapped around each other, laughing like nothing could ever come between us. I looked at it for a few seconds, and I felt nothing. Not rage, not nostalgia, just nothing. I dropped it in the trash without ceremony because I didn't need it anymore. That version of her? She doesn't exist, and neither does the version of me who needed her to. A mutual friend told me they broke up. No scandal, no fallout, just quietly unraveled. I didn't ask for more because it wasn't my story to track anymore. And that's when it really landed. Closure isn't something they give you. It's something you grow into when you stop needing the ending to make sense. I used to picture conversations I'd never have. Used to rehearse what I'd say if I saw them again. But now, I hope I don't. Not out of avoidance, but because I don't need the moment. I already lived it, survived it, and walked through the other side. I still think about her sometimes. Not about what she did, but about what it cost me. The way it forced me to redefine loyalty, friendship, boundaries, trust. But here's the part that matters. I don't hate her. I don't miss her either. She's just gone, like a chapter you close after reading one too many times. And me? I've changed. I'm still soft, but I'm no longer naive. Still generous, but now with limits. Still open, but only to people who know what it means to stay. There's a moment after the storm when the silence hits differently. Not the kind filled with dread or anxiety, but the kind that finally feels like peace, like stillness, like nothing's chasing you anymore. That moment happened for me on an ordinary day. No epiphany, no dramatic music, just me in the mirror, brushing my hair, realizing I'm not waiting anymore. Not for an apology, not for closure, not for them to feel sorry. It was over because I said so. The healing didn't arrive all at once. It showed up in moments, like when I laughed at something dumb and didn't feel the weight behind it, like when I walked into a room without scanning for someone I used to know, like when I started telling stories about myself that didn't involve pain. I didn't need the final scene anymore. The confrontation, the face-to-face, the closure that every movie insists we need. I created it myself. By walking forward without looking back. The people who stayed, they stayed. The ones who didn't, they weren't supposed to. I let it all fall where it needed to fall. And what was left standing, that's what was meant for me. I saw her again, once, quickly, briefly, crossing a street. She looked up, locked eyes with me, paused like she might wave. But she didn't. Neither did I. Because that chapter had already closed. No punctuation needed. I don't tell the story often anymore. Not because I'm ashamed, but because it's not the most interesting thing about me anymore. What is? The way I rebuilt. The way I stopped apologizing for being too soft. The way I stopped letting people explain their bad behavior as mistakes. The way I grew into someone I actually respect. I still believe in love. Still believe in friendship. But now I believe in boundaries too. I believe in trusting my gut. And in walking away the first time, I'm forced to question it. I'm still soft, but I'm no longer naive. Still kind, but no longer available to people who treat me like a backup plan. Still open, but only to those who know how to stay. I don't need revenge. I don't need closure. I don't need to win. I just need peace. And every day I choose it, I win a little more.